For our mini project flyer game, I'm just briefly going to talk through utilizing the resources that are on the page for actually building your game. So in level 3, we are supposed to be making your sprites. So the directions here are pretty explicit, and you have an example of at the end of this level, this is what my screen should look like. So again, if you, depending on your comfort level, if seeing this in the upper right hand corner is really going to help you, then I would replicate your game exactly the way that it's given to you. So in the animation tab, you already have your character, your coin, and your rock. If you would like to use these, use them. If you want something new, put something new in. But the important part is that you'll need a player, a target, and 2 obstacles in your game. So to create this, you need to go to the animation tab and be sure that you have the items that you want. Then you need to find the code comment that says game setup. Create 3 more sprites, the target, and 2 obstacles. So we can see here, and I'm going to go into block mode so it's a little easier to see. We can see here that the player has already been created. Notice that the scale has been made a little bit smaller. So that's why it says here in the directions, scale each one to the size that you want. You are going to have to create more sprites, the target, and 2 obstacles. So you would need to pull out your sprite blocks to do that. Then place them in the game where you want them to be, either on or off the screen. And in the game, the obstacles and coin were placed randomly, but you don't have to do that just yet. So that means you can literally just here when the player was created, create the sprite at a certain X and Y location. But you do need to start the X velocity of the obstacles. And then test your program and make sure the player and the target should be on the screen. The obstacles should start off the screen and move across the screen from left to right or up and down. So again, once you have gone through all of the do this, your screen should mimic right here. So again, for the targets, maybe the targets are really starting here, but because you're setting the X and Y velocity outside of the draw loop, they will be moving across the screen. Then in level 4, again, just be sure that you are following the do this. I think that these directions are very explicit. So find the comment that says falling, and within the falling comment underneath it is where you're going to use the counter pattern to make the sprite's Y velocity and the flyer fall. So by the time that you are done with level 4, your screen should look like the upper right-hand corner animation. And if you notice, for the game to be over, they've already put in the compound conditional that's checking if the player X position is less than -50. So that's going to be the left-hand side of the screen. Then it's going to check, or if it's above 450, so that's going to be over here. And then the Y, -50 at the top, and probably then 450 at the bottom. So this compound conditional is taking care of the sides. So if it goes off the screen, that's when we're getting the game over. So you don't have to worry about setting up the game over screen. In level 5, you are taking care of the jumping. So again, find the comment that says player controls, and then even underneath player controls, there's even another comment that we're changing the Y velocity when we click up, when we click left, when we click right. Nothing is going to happen with a down arrow because by default in level 3, you made maybe the last level, you set the Y velocity to be automatically going down. In level 6, you will be floating left and right. So again, I jumped the gun. That's going to be underneath these comments. And then in level 7, is going to be like what we are calling our looping mechanism. So once the obstacles reach the left-hand side of the screen or the bottom screen, they're going to appear again. So again, the directions are very descriptive here, and this looping mechanism is the item now that we've been doing for like a week and a half or 2 weeks. So hopefully you feel really comfortable with that. If not, as always, go back and look at old code. And then in level 8, you're going to see what happens when we're touching the obstacles. And what happens if our player touches our target. So underneath sprite interactions, and even tells us more specific, reset the coin when the player touches it and make the obstacles push the player. And then in level 9, you are basically just reviewing your game to make sure that it all works, which if you've been reviewing throughout each level, your game should work. This would be a place if you wanted to add a scoring mechanism here, you could add a scoring mechanism really easily. I hope this helps and good luck.